State.
You've waited all day for this.
That team's standing in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
All right, here we go, Buckeye fans. Nice little Tuesday episode the day before the Big Ten tournament begins for our Buckeye men's basketball team. It is championship week, so every night this week, if you're into it, obviously I'm as big a college basketball fan as you're going to find, so tickets are going to be punched to the big dance every single day from here on out. So it's an exciting time. I can't wait to see how it unfolds. We'll get to some of the Buckeye men's hoops in the second segment here. We, of course, are brought to you by our friends at CareSource and also by Coors Light. So we thank them for sponsoring this lovely radio show. We'll get it going here in a second, but it's funny. Bodie and I were just talking about this before the show, and Bodie's the only one who's with me tonight. So it's good to see you. Good job on the update right there. Now, since IT in our building took our laptops and they updated some things, we used to just get the generic blue Tegna screen when we would sign in to either the workstations like we have here where we're hosting, or in the control room where Bodie has a million different computer screens in front of him, or our own laptops. But now, like many of you might have at home with any sort of Microsoft Windows run program, anything not an Apple, you get these ever-changing background screens. And it just sort of takes you all across the world. I've noticed this with my PC at home, and just this tells you, one, how old you're getting, right? How you actually take an interest in this. And you're like, oh, that's quite lovely. I wonder where that is. I want to know what yours is today, Bodie. I'll tell you what mine is. But what is your screensaver showing you? Where has it taken you here today?
Yeah, mine is Riley's Wave, which is in Ireland. Which,
Ooh,
of
that
course,
sounds
is a
lovely.
very special place in my heart, as the Irish are 2-0 in my lifetime. I think they've played a couple more games than that in Ireland, but I know they're 2-0 in my lifetime.
What was the score of that game last year?
That would have been 42-3. Sam Hartman was just slinging it all over Tim. Anything felt possible on that day. We had a quarterback again, and it was great. And then
Sam Hartman, one of the most attractive quarterbacks ever created.
Yeah, when it was him and Freeman, the attractiveness of the quarterback head coach combo is just amazing.
All right. All right. We said the quarterback. Forget about the coach.
Riley's Wave.
What is Riley's Wave? Like what?
I don't know if it's a literal. It's just a picture of a wave. It is green too, which I think is very fitting. I don't know if it's an actual place.
It's a phenomena?
Or if it's a fierce barrel found somewhere between...
it's a surf spot on the west coast of Ireland.
And Doonbeg, not far south of the wild Atlantic Way and the cliffs of Moher. And I can just keep reading here, but I'm not going to just
You got to get better with your pronunciations.
Agreed.
Being an Irish fan, you've got to get better. I am actually being whisked away to the Skyline Arch in Utah. You know anything about that? That's in the Arches National Park. I've been. My honeymoon. Me and Sarah spent our honeymoon gallivanting all across the state of Utah. And we went to 4 different national parks out there. It's showing me a picture of the Milky Way over the Skyline Arch, which is quite beautiful. Yeah, that's one of the great national park spots out there. That was quite a trip for Sarah and I. That's when we learned that we have no business camping. We actually camped in that park. We were at the very beginning, so we back-ended our trip with the nicer lodges, but we had gone ahead planning to camp with a tent, like straight up camping for a couple of nights earlier in the trip.
Yeah, I'm not a camper either.
It was not fun.
I need AC and/or heat. I need the indoor plumbing, etc.
In the time of year we went, it's a lot like March in Ohio right here, right now, what we're experiencing, where we're not out of the woods yet, are we? We're at 70 degrees today, but we're going to get another blast of winter. I was saying this before the show. There's no way we're not going to see like high 30s again throughout the month of March. I think it's actually in the forecast for maybe 6 or 7 days from now, but this entire week, it's in the 70s. This is part of, for me, what makes being a college basketball fan in this month, and it's just, let's be honest, this month in general, where you get spring football starting up, so we get a lot of storylines and a lot of topics, and we can absolutely dig into our football team and who's coming back, and the coaching staff sort of leveling the plains and getting reestablished with the changes there. But you've got NFL free agency, so you've got your favorite NFL teams that are setting the table for what they're going to be the following season. You've got the NHL season coming down the stretch. You've got the NBA season coming down the stretch. And March Madness, of course, the best thing of this entire month. And part of it, too, I do think, is how you're getting out of the doldrums of winter, where the sun starts to shine a little bit. And if you have ever gone with your family members or close friends to go enjoy tournament basketball, a lot of times, and I think we should be more up in the rotation, I would like to see Nationwide Arena at least get the first and second round action every other year instead of having to wait one every 4 years, because I think it's just it's perfect there. It's like the Big Ten tournament should always be in Indianapolis. But if they're going to move it from Indianapolis, don't move it out west. Don't move it to a non-Big Ten town in Vegas or go to Minnesota or dumb places like that. Bring it to Columbus if you have to move it out of Indy. But I just love that aspect where the weather's a little bit nicer. You go to watch some basketball in person. You go watch those first two games, like the noon and the 3 o'clock game, and then you have that middle session where you get a little bit of a break, and you can walk outside and almost like the LeBron meme, look into the sky. This is my life right now. Sun is shining. Basketball is being played. CBS Sports jingle is just in my head. Ba-da-da-da-ba-ba-da-da. It's just great. You'll have to excuse my voice because the throat is scratchy tonight, and, when you're battling through a CBJ shorty, you come into work and you get the job done. And again, there's no time to rest because we've got a tournament run that starts next week. But before we get to Buckeye basketball, this was something that we were doing last night. So a little impromptu version of On the Trail. We usually do our On the Trail segments on Tuesdays anyway, so it's fitting. So we'll go there with Buckeye football recruiting. You might have been looking at that 2026 recruiting class for the Buckeyes. You're into mid-March here, and you've only seen 4 commitments. And it was back, I think, the day after the Rose Bowl, the last time they got their last commitment that put him at number 4, and it was their first defensive guy in the class. So things have been a little bit stale, hadn't been moving, but it's not all that odd because they had a deep run. They won the national championship. You're more concerned about doing that, winning those games. You're saying goodbye to a lot of coaches, so you almost have to pull back on the reins a little bit, wait to see what your staff is going to look like, and then charge ahead. And I think that's where they all are. They just got out of a dead period, and we've gotten back into a quiet period, which means you can start having people come to you for visits. You can't go out and do on-campus or, off-campus recruiting, but players can come to you. So it's still a big thing, so contact is on. And Tyler Bowen, he was one of the few guys I got a chance to chat with personally when I went over to the Woody last week when they had every single coach for Ohio State football available to chat with. And I really liked him just on a personal level. Forget about the football stuff where I think you go and look over Tyler Bowen's resume, who's got offensive coordinator experience, and he's been on a lot of good programs. Penn State, played football at Maryland, heavily influenced by Ralph Friedgen. So you talk about a guy that cares a whole lot about the run game, something that Tyler Bowen comes in as the run game coordinator as well. So that's going to be a big part of what he does with the new running backs with this team and beefing up this offensive line and developing even more this offensive line. But Bowen, he, of course, was asked a lot about recruiting when he spoke, and he sort of broke it down, some of the differences and what he's looking forward to as being a recruiter here at Ohio State.
The biggest transition is going from a role as a coordinator back to the role as a position coach in that recruiting mode, which was obviously been something that I've been excited about, to be honest. That's something that I cut my teeth doing. But I think each program you go to, it's a different level of difficulty based on who you're competing against, right? When you're at certain programs, you're not going to compete against a program like this, right? But when you're at this program, you're competing nationally with other programs, right? So it's all the same level of difficulty, and I still, it goes back to kind of what we talked about with the trust with the offensive line. Like, it is a people business, and the first thing, and no different than we did with our individual players, but with the recruits that have been on Ohio State's radar for a while and our radar for a while, but also new ones, is try to build that relationship and bridge it quickly. Make sure that we're getting people on campus to be able to sit down face to face.
And part of what Bowen was talking about there, he said earlier in the press conference how one of the first things he wanted to do was get here and get situated in the job at Ohio State and meet every single returning offensive lineman, and not just to break down, but both though, but not just to break down what they aspire to be as offensive linemen, as football players, playing to their strengths, what they feel they're good at, what they feel they need to improve at, but getting to know them on a personal level and establishing that trust, which, like he said, is what recruiting's all about. So I take you to last night, and we had Bill Kurlick on, the dean of Buckeye football recruiting for Bucknuts and 24/7. Well-respected, right? Covers it as well as anybody, and has done so for so long, back to when it was just recruiting newsletters back in the day, right? He was probably covering Eddie George when he was being recruited to Ohio State. So we're talking about Maxwell Riley. He was kind of down the list for guys in the top 100 player rankings that Ohio State was in on, but I stopped at his name because he's an offensive lineman. Avon Lake, he's from Ohio, and I knew that this battle was brewing with Clemson and the Buckeyes. And Kurlick, we finished talking about that, and this will tell you how much things in our eyes had shifted over the last 24 hours.
And it's going to be interesting because Max Riley is going to visit Clemson on March 24th, and then 1 week later, on April 1st, he will visit Ohio State. And those two visits might end up telling the tale where Max Riley goes. And if you're Ohio State, you've got to like the fact that you get the last shot of those two visits. And I tend to think that after that visit, April 1st, Max Riley will likely make his decision sometime in the month of April.
So things changed because 2 hours after the show was done, Maxwell Riley, boom, becomes a recruit. We see the boom tweet going out from position coach Tyler Bowen. We hear it, it's written about, it's reported, and Maxwell Riley, a top 10 offensive tackle in the country, doesn't even need to wait for these visits to happen. We'll see if he still takes that visit to Clemson. Sometimes they do, but boom, they got the job done. So talk about a fast worker for Tyler Bowen. And this was a guy, Max Riley, he's from Ohio. You can make a case that watching them win the national championship, like, Bill and I, we talked about last night, that was a big thing. He knows Ryan Day. I think the guy at the top he's comfortable with. And I'm telling you, when you get in the room with Tyler Bowen, you're going to like the guy. It's simple as that. I think this guy is going to be an outstanding recruiter for offensive linemen as he gets going here at Ohio State. So I really do think the Buckeyes are in a good place with him. But great to see Maxwell Riley become the newest verbal commit, and they're going to continue to ramp that up as the month goes on here. Here's one for you Buckeye basketball fans. Been wanting to get to this. If you could pick any one player of the last 10 years of Buckeye basketball, kind of cut it at that D'Angelo Russell team. So you could pick D-Russ and put on this roster. Whom would it be? I give you the right answer for me. That's next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers.
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Forefather, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostateforefather.com. Go Bucks!
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
The Fan has been ranked as the second best sports station in America by our industry peers. Our heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Looking for a very special way to commemorate the 9th national championship in Ohio State football history? Then check out the beautiful Ohio State timepieces at OxiaTime.com. Oxia has created a series of heirloom quality designs to celebrate the Buckeyes, including the limited edition Ryan Day autograph box sets. Equally impressive to the quality of their products is the quality of the people behind these watches. Go to OxiaTime.com to learn more on their backstory and claim your piece of Ohio State history. That's AXIATime.com.
Life is more fun with a pal. So is pizza. So check out Donato's new $5 Pizza Pals menu. Order any large pizza and add on your choice of a sub, salad, wings, a 10-inch pizza, and more for just $5. It's the new $5 Pizza Pals menu from Donato's. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A little breezy out there, a couple of clouds, and very warm and dry on this Tuesday. Temperatures running in the low 70s. Overnight, we'll fall back down to the upper 30s with partly cloudy skies and light winds for your Wednesday wake-up. And during the day, more sunshine than clouds, light winds, and a warm finish again with temperatures running around 70 degrees. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
The show that knows how to throw a big, giant Buckeye party. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Timmy Hall here with you, all you fine Buckeye fans. Tuesday night edition of The Buckeye Show. Party on, Boatman.
Party on, Timmy.
Party on, Buckeye fans. Hey, before I get back to this Buckeye basketball question I've been thinking about, and my answer I think is going to surprise a lot of people because there seems to be a real obvious choice. And I asked, you can add any player of the last 10 years of Buckeye basketball to this squad. How do you think, the important thing to ask is how can you best maximize what this current team is? I'm not asking you to take anybody off this team. Someone obviously would go to the bench, but add one. Before I get to that, I want to tell you guys about my good friends at Tri-State Men's Health. You knew I was going to tell you about them. I'm trying to fix all the issues with men's health in town this year. So, you may have heard me talking about the lack of energy levels that I had heading to the finish line at the end of a day last year. Well, quick little ace shots from my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They did fix that because I didn't really think or know about low testosterone being an issue that could affect you, but low T certainly is a thing. And guys can start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same guy. Maybe that's a decrease in libido. Maybe you're putting on weight. Maybe you're just less productive at the gym when normally you start to see those lines. Can't see the lines, can you, Russ? Well, then what are you going to do about it? So poor sleep patterns, waking up and you're already feeling tired, or you're getting tired way too early in the evening, sad or depressed. That could be low testosterone. Well, Tri-State Men's Health, they are experts at finding the right treatment and getting your levels to the right places. So see them. Go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com. They got the quiz you can take there that'll help you out. That first appointment is $99. You get the consult TMPSA test. If you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Oh, and 2 lovely locations right here in Central Ohio. So they're really easy to get to. TriStateMen'sHealth.com. Bodie, Who do you think the easy answer is for most people when I say, 10 years? So that goes back to that team that D'Angelo Russell was on. Cut it right there. And that was the 2014-2015 team. He was a 19, 5.7 and 5 guy. One of the best true freshmen you're ever going to see.
Yeah, second overall pick in the draft. I think that would be the answer that would kind of first come to mind, because if you're just thinking, Tim, we're not looking for the best players, we're looking for the right ones. But if you were looking for the best, Russell probably
D. Russ is up there.
Yeah.
But the one that I would think
the first
people would
one
look to,
when you asked me, I said Liddell.
E.J. Liddell.
Because you're kind of fitting a little bit of a need, and he's probably, I would say, almost by far the most talented big of Ohio State has had in the last decade.
And
I know he's not like a quote-unquote big, like, he's not huge per se, like height-wise and whatnot, but
he got it done.
Yeah, and he's a forward, like much more than he is a guard, obviously.
EJ was so good. Just taking this opportunity to appreciate what he was. I still remember the game where he started against Northwestern and he hit 5 straight three-pointers. He had such a flat three-point shot, but it was effective.
Yeah,
if you got him to that top of the key location, boy, could he get hot there.
I mean, I was just looking at it here. 37% on 3.8, so call it 4 attempts per game his junior year. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
49% field goal percentage, 77% from the free throw line. I mean, he was a 19 and 8 guy. EJ was crazy. But hang with me here. And this is the one that I think would best fit the needs for this team, because I'm thinking about when we get Devin Royal is really good, right? And I think we were hoping for a little bit more of a step from Devin Royal, but he has had some games this year where he has really done some work in the low post, and it's been really the only scoring that Ohio State has been able to have this year is from Devin Royal, who I also think could be more of a 3. And if he improves his three-point shot a little bit, which he has stepped out and had some performances this year where he's knocked the 3 down, he's also been a little bit more inconsistent. I am not comparing junior E.J. Liddell to this year's Devin Royal. Clear and obvious, E.J.'s better. But I think with the lack of anything that this team has gotten this year on the front line from a scoring and, more importantly, a rebounding standpoint, but just the ability to do a little bit of everything, I think my choice is Caleb Wesson. Yes, Caleb Wesson, another Central Ohio product whose brother Andre became a really, really serviceable player here for the Buckeyes. I liked his game as well, but I did not realize that Caleb was almost a double-double guy by the time he left Ohio State, because I thought my initial viewpoint, if you were to just say Caleb Wesson and I have to give you what his stats were, I think I was probably going to say like a 12 and 6 guy. Good, but not crazy good, not Big Ten Player of the Year type stuff that E.J. Liddell was. But by the time Caleb left, he was a 14 a game, 9.3 rebound per game, almost 2 assists per game, block per game. I do remember now how Caleb could pass the ball very well, very good interior passer. He could knock down the 3. He was 42.5% from downtown. Made his free throws when he got to the line. 45% from the field, because, again, you do factor in that he would shoot a little bit further from the basket, but his ability to average almost a double-double, I think, is the reason I would pick him. Again, some of you would still go E.J. Liddell. I think it's a fun discussion, and you can't open it up to the whole 20 years, because then you would just say Greg Oden.
Yeah, that would be a little
or Jared Sullivan.
Cheating almost.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
I guess I'll take the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Just imagine having Greg Oden be a part of this team right here with what these guys need.
They wouldn't be playing tomorrow, Tim.
No.
Probably not Thursday either. They'd probably start their Big Ten tournament run on Friday.
Little bit of the thing we call the double bye, but we are going to see you guys here tomorrow at, 5 o'clock? Yeah, 5 o'clock for warm-up action. So that's what's going to be going on here on The Fan. Little 2-hour edition of Man and Bone before we get ready for Buckeye basketball. Now, Jake Diebler, what's he going to be able to do to get this team locked back in? I think that's what everybody is watching right now, is when you lose a game the way you lost it against Indiana, what kind of team is going to respond? And that's been something that this team has been trying to deal with a lot at the end of the season, losing the Northwestern game. They had to go on the road to UCLA the game after that. It wasn't, they played better, but they still took a loss. Then it's been surviving. Crazy finish against USC. Another crazy finish back at home against Nebraska. But then you have this game on the road at Indiana, and you're up 10 points late, and you just couldn't get it figured out. What happened to that offense, Jake, late against Indiana? This was him on the show the other day.
Really, some wasted possessions offensively, a couple bad shots that we forced up in the paint, a couple turnovers. And I felt like in that moment where, they're starting to run or going on a run, we needed to stall that, by getting a good bucket offensively. We didn't play with the poise offensively we needed to there.
Yeah, there were just a lot of possessions where they were either turning it over or not taking good shots. And it's something that at this point in the season, you can't see it happening. Now when it's do or die, this is a game that you have coming up tomorrow that's going to either get you in the NCAA tournament, in my opinion, or keep you out. So that's what you have. And here's what he wants them to, or here's how he wants them to approach this game against Iowa tomorrow.
The best thing for us is to live in the moment and really focus on just what we can control. Prepare well for Iowa, take it one day at a time, certainly leading into the game and keeping our focus on this first game.
Bruce Thornton, for a little tidbit here at the end, the all Big Ten teams came out, and good for Bruce. He finds himself on the second team, so that's great news for Bruce. The only other guy that's on any of the teams is Kalen Etzler. That's it for a sportsmanship award from the Big Ten. I thought that was a little surprising. You would have liked to see maybe somebody like Micah Parrish.
That's
maybe
the
somebody
important things, Tim.
Right. Yeah, we're students.
We're not about winning and losing.
Obviously not to see Michi Johnson on any of these teams. He's not with the squad anymore, but being a second-team All-SEC guy, you would have loved to see that chance, but not really on the squad. But we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 5 o'clock for Buckeye basketball coverage. Jackets, critical road game to finish the trip at the Devils. Next on The Fan.
We've all got it, that one crazy thing you've always wanted to do, that bucket list goal. Then a cancer diagnosis, and that one thing still goes according to plan. I would know. I'm getting my first tattoo right now, while my 3 beautiful daughters laugh hysterically at me. 58 years old, 4 years of cancer-free checkups at Ohio Health. Go ahead and get a picture, girls. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans.
When you're on the go, every minute of the day counts. Meijer Home Delivery and Pickup helps you make the most of every second. Get all your weekly shopping online, quickly and easily, from wherever you are, whenever you want. Then have your Meijer order delivered to your home, or swing by and pick it up when you're out and about. Whatever works best for your schedule. The good life